So it wasn't some, magical story of me falling in love with capital markets a priori. It was really, this is the job I want. This is the degree I need. And so I just dove in with both feet and then found that just came really intuitively to me. And, it's been a great pathway. And I think coming to VCU is really full circle for me, to come to one of the top public school of the arts and get to lead the business school is incredibly special and meaningful to me because it really is. It's full circle.
Welcome to America's Healthiest City on ESPN Richmond 106.1, part of the Mike King Biz Media Network. Today we are at Sneed Hall at Virginia Commonwealth University School of Business. We're interviewing Dr. Naomi Boyd, the dean of the school here. And if you are new to this program, please check out americashealthiestcity.com to learn more about our 10-year community partnership to make Richmond, the entire region, the healthiest in America by 2033. We are inviting businesses, nonprofits, academic institutions, and government agencies that are looking to move the needle in the direction of positive community health to join our cause as an ambassador. So you can learn what that's like at americashealthiestcity.com. Without further ado, Dr. Naomi Boyd, thank you for joining me on our show.
Thank you for having me.
So this is super exciting. You are relatively new to Richmond, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I think the entire school is excited to have you. I'm excited to have you on the show. I really want to learn more about what brought you to Richmond because this is a place that's attracting a lot of people, and then we'll get a little bit more into your background.
Sure. So we came to visit Richmond probably 2 Marches ago, and really just fell in love with the city. My husband is from Austin, Texas. I grew up in Dallas. We both went to school in Austin, and it just had that vibe, that energy with both the arts community and the great food and the great outdoor activities that just reminded us of home. My husband actually, when we left here, he said, I feel like I'm home. And I think that is a common theme that resonates with people, is that it's a really welcoming place. It's very friendly. It's got great weather. It's got great activities. And so it's just an exciting place to be. It's also a great place to raise a family. We have 3 kids. And so, we were looking for some place that had a lot going on, but that wasn't too overwhelming. And we found our home here in Richmond.
And has it lived up to your expectations? Or?
Oh, it's far exceeded them. I think every time we try something new or go somewhere new in the city, it's like a treasure trove of just amazing people and places and activities. And I feel like every weekend there's something else going on in the city. So it's incredible how vibrant this place is and how accessible everything is. So yeah, we're thrilled. We're thrilled to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
So you've got a really interesting background, and you're not the first person we've interviewed that started in the arts and, ended up in some business capacity. So you've got a background in dance. You did that in high school. You got a BFA. And then, you ended up in finance and you consulted with CFTC and now you're here at VCU. So, I'm sure everybody is curious to know, how you go from, studying the arts to business. So can you enlighten us, please?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I took calculus in high school, which I think is a great start to anyone's academic career, no matter what path you go on. In studying dance, I feel like I made the best choice in terms of a major. I think what I do now, I study structural shifts in the market. I look for patterns and data. I study network theory as it applies to financial markets. And so you're looking for trends, you're looking for patterns, you're looking for sources of behavior, which is exactly what you do when you critically analyze a piece of choreography. So I spent my 4 years as an undergraduate student and then 2 years after, dancing in Austin, really looking at all of these different aspects of the arts and looking for patterns, looking for trends, trying to interpret very abstract pieces. And so I think for me, it was just such a natural translation into finance. Where you're constantly looking, especially if you're a technical analyst, you're looking at patterns, you're looking at trends in the market. And so it just sort of became really intuitive to me when I started down that path. I didn't mean to end up in finance. I was actually wanted to be a consultant. And so when I went back to business school, I was a marketing student at first, and then I started looking at the job that I wanted, and everybody had finance degrees. And so I said, oh, well, I guess I'm going to go and get a finance degree. And so it wasn't some, magical story of me falling in love with capital markets a priori. It was really, this is the job I want. This is the degree I need. And so I just dove in with both feet, and then found that just came really intuitively to me. And it's been a great pathway. And I think coming to VCU is really full circle for me. To come to one of the top public school of the arts and get to lead the business school is incredibly special and meaningful to me, because it really is. It's full circle. My arts friends were really excited that I was coming here, and obviously my finance friends were also thrilled for me. So it's a great place to be, and excited to see how we can integrate arts and business even more and intentionally. So
perfect for my next question. Creativity obviously runs a thread through your life. How would you say in your current role, you're able to integrate your own kind of passion for creativity with your work?
Sure. So at my prior institution, I was over our entire entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I think that it takes a really creative eye to understand that there is no one entity that can own entrepreneurship or innovation, that it really is this complex ecosystem of all of these different perspectives and people and personalities, and that bring different elements to the table. And so I think I take a very ecosystem-based approach, not only to the way I run our school and our departments, but also the way that I look at our core strengths here at VCU and how we can serve as a bridge to both the MCV campus from Monroe Park, but also how we can be a bridge to the community in terms of really creating that startup, feel. I think it's really important to have a business school that is working at the forefront of entrepreneurship and innovation, and we can do it in really meaningful ways. But I think it's really taking all of the pieces together and building out a framework that is complete. So, yeah.
It's a team effort.
It's a team effort. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, obviously as a busy person, balancing that schedule with, the need to have, mental well-being and space in your life, how do you accomplish that personally?
I think you have to be really, really intentional. And, working in finance, having 3 children, working in an academic body that primarily was dominated by men, was really challenging for me in the beginning, because you want to make a good impression and you want to be a top performer. I think I made the decision really early on to take a step back and say, what is valuable, what is important, and my family will always be at the forefront of that. And so I just made really intentional steps to say, this is who I am, and I'm not going to make any apologies for it, and I'm going to make balance actually happen. Although sometimes it's hard. Most nights I don't get home until almost 10, and then I'm checking emails. But you make it work, and you have to those pieces of joy that those perquisites, if you will, that you get from having that balance and having those meaningful relationships in your life and watching your family grow and flourish is something that I've also tried to instill in my teams, that, family should always come first, and that your health and your mental well-being also needs to come first. And I think it's just about practicing mindfulness, making sure that, when things get really heavy or really start moving really fast, that you are cognizant of that, and you take a step back and take a few deep breaths and really focus on, okay, what are we doing? How are we getting there? And I tend to approach things in a pretty methodical way, and compartmentalize things a lot, because I think that also helps you achieve some sense of balance in this chaotic world. So Yeah, I would say that work-life balance has always been incredibly important to me. I've always been a huge proponent of it because I think you can have both. You can get your kids off the bus at 3:30 in the afternoon, take them home, get them a snack, and you may work after they go to bed, certainly to make it all work. But I think that is one of the beautiful things about working in academia. I've had opportunities to go to Wall Street, and I may still end up going there someday. But it was really important to me to have that flexibility in my life and make sure that all aspects of my life were balanced. So some days are better than others.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we'll talk about VCU in a minute, but in our previous conversation, we spoke a little bit about conscious capitalism and societal responsibility and moral responsibility. And as a leader, I'm curious to know how you're thinking about those things as you lead your team and how you instill those values.
Sure. I think, the whole notion of ESG, corporate social responsibility, has received, people are starting to, I feel like, kind of politicize it a little bit, but it's not a political issue. It really is something that businesses can make society better and should make society better. So here in the BC School of Business, one of our pillars of our new strategic plan is societal impact. And we're doing that in meaningful ways, both from teaching our students and having our faculty do research in sustainability and sustainable business practices, but also reaching out into our community. And since I've come here, I have heard so many times VCU save the city of Richmond, but I feel that we need to be more intentional and thoughtful in how we are reaching back out to the community in Richmond to bring them back into our walls and provide them with avenues and pathways. Our strategic plan is called Bridge 2028 for a reason, because I really feel like we do give faculty, staff, students, community members, all of our stakeholders opportunities to determine the life that they want to lead. We don't prescribe that to them. And so I think that's also a piece of societal impact is bringing hope, bringing inspiration, building people's confidence to show them this is the world that we live in and anything is possible. I often say if a ballerina can run a business school, you can do anything. And I've always taken that approach. So I really feel like, business schools in general are leading the way in terms of these conversations about how are we impacting the world around us in meaningful ways, not only through making sure that we're holistically looking at the whole person through people-centered leadership and mindfulness, but that we're also giving back to our communities in meaningful ways and finding those passion projects that really will elevate the world in which we live. So
you're listening to America's Healthiest City on ESPN Richmond 106.1, part of the Mike King Biz Media Network. Today we are interviewing Dr. Naomi Boyd, the Dean of the Business School here at Virginia Commonwealth University. Question for you about fostering culture. I mean, the VCU is a very innovative place. How do you see weaving conscious capitalism with something like innovation? It's a rapid moving thing. It is iterative. It's got lots of people involved. How do we make sure that stays an underpinning?
I think, I'm a big believer in a values-based system. And so I think if you lead your organization and you lead the way that you make decisions, and the way that you set priorities, with your values first, it always, well, not always, but I think it does. I think it always actually ends up being, a better methodology than trying to listen to outside externalities and run your organization based off of that. I think here at VCU, having this campus-wide culture of care was really meaningful to me when I came here. And I think that as we started thinking about how do you operationalize a culture of care, how do you really use it to build a culture within your organization that will then lead to identification of strategic priorities and the way that we're organizing resources even. For us here in the School of Business, it meant community first. So community appreciation, respect, and empathy are our core values. And so as we move into our future, as we're working on things and developing those new strategic initiatives, I feel like if people feel safe and they feel cared for, they are going to be comfortable being disruptive and being disruptors. And that's not to say that they're being distracting. It is that they feel empowered to do things in a different way, to think outside of the box, that their organization, no matter the outcome, is going to be there to help support them and be the wind at their back and catch them if they're failing and say, okay, let's redirect and let's try something else. That didn't work, but that's okay. And I think it goes back to that entrepreneurial spirit. You can't be afraid to fail if you're an entrepreneur. You're going to have failures and you're going to have to learn from them. And the next iteration, the next product, the next application is definitely going to be better. And so if you have that culture, if you have that sense of safety, you're going to try new things. You're going to try different things, and you're going to be a more innovative organization because all of your people feel that they can do anything, and they feel inspired every day to come to work. And so I think that's, if you have a strong value system and you have a strong culture, it will lead to really, really interesting outcomes. And I think this year I themed the School of Business's year disruption, and people are really leaning into it. They're really excited. They're excited to come to work. The students are excited about it. And it's just really challenging traditional norms and saying, let's try something new. Let's try something different. Let's not try things different that aren't, that don't make sense, but really be inspired by the world around us and see where this can carry us. So.
And I'm sure that excitement doesn't come without vision. And so, I want to talk a little bit about long-term goals. You mentioned Bridge 2028. Mm-hmm. How do you see that impacting, both how you guys teach, but also the broader sense of societal well-being and health?
Sure. One of the things that we really have been focused on is mental health. I think coming out of the pandemic, everyone has some sense of a heaviness. I always say we've all experienced a trauma, and the more that we can talk about it and the more that we can recognize that we've just lived through an incredibly difficult time, and really focus our efforts on what these young adults also experience. Going through it as an adult was challenging enough, but when I look at my own kids, when I look at our college students, I think we really need to focus on the holistic aspects of this whole person, and how do we grow and develop them and give them the tools and the resources to succeed, not only in the classroom but also in life. And so we've opened a care room in the School of Business that's focused on mindful. It's just a place where students can go pray, they can go meditate, they can take a break from the daily hustle and bustle of their lives, but faculty and staff can as well. And it's just this beautiful recognition that mental health matters, that it will help you in making those hard decisions and excelling in your classwork and excelling in your workplace if you are mindful about your mental health. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I think that's really important. But in terms of what the future holds, we're really focused on experiences. And again, it goes hand in hand with well-being. But we're transformative student experiences are at the core of our strategic plan. And so it's really taking a portfolio approach. Like I said before, we're not prescribing the way that people should work, the way that people should live, what they want to get out of this incredible institution. It's really more about creating pathways for them to learn and grow and experience really interesting and applied things while they're here on our campus.
So, the heaviness of the pandemic, I've heard described as a pandemic of loneliness. I think we all see, the discourse of the world isn't necessarily what we would all like it to be. And maybe a lack of empathy is a contributor to that. Mm-hmm. How do you view empathy and what's its role in a business school?
I think it's a driver in the business school. I think when you think about how you lead, how you show up, how you face really difficult problems, which we do in the business world every single day, you really, if you are empathetic to whoever is sitting across from you, you're gonna give them better service. You're gonna give them more of who you are and what you're capable of, and than just simply, coming in, stating facts and leaving. I think that sense of empathy really allows you to focus and be present on the person or the place or the thing that you're focused on. And I think it's something that really is going to lead businesses into the future, because people want to feel cared for. They want to feel heard. And if you lead with empathy, you're always going to make better decisions, in my opinion. So, and you're always going to be there to listen to the people that need to be heard the most.
So, capitalism demands that we earn a profit. Profit making doesn't go away when we start to think about empathy and soft skills and all the things that contribute to a better world. How do you continue to think about profit making and teach profit making, but with these other values, instilled?
I often tell I'm a finance professor, right? So capitalism matters. We're here to make money. We're here to win. But I think winning is more about, if you have happy, healthy organizations, you're going to have less turnover. You're going to have more, people are going to be way more engaged. And I think that if you focus on engagement, if you focus on retention of really top performers, they are going to make you more money. They are going to be profit drivers in your organization. And so I think that you can have both, and you can be both. And I think it starts at the top. I think it's really important to lead by example. I think it's important to show your employees, as well as the people that you're serving, that you also are living your life in a certain way, and that you're showing up the way in which is needed. And so I think it is a balance, but I think it actually can produce greater levels of profitability if you have really well-run organizations. And I think at the heart of corporate social responsibility and aspects of that is really, it's really about having healthy organizations, and whether that's, physical health, mental health, those things matriculate into profitability, because people can perform at a higher level if they're actually healthy they're healthy themselves. So I think it goes hand in hand.
So we're betting on ESG is going to work and continue to work. So.
I wouldn't go that far. I think there are aspects and elements of it that certainly help inform decision making and help inform the way that companies are contributing to their communities. I think there's a lot of problems with it right now, just because you've got this sort of market for lemons problem, where everyone, including Exxon and Mobil, they want to have these ESG measures too. So I think you have to be really careful when you start thinking about corporate social responsibility, ESG, all of those societal impact factors, and how they're actually being measured, and whether they're actually meaningful. Because I think having diversity of thought, having a really, again, going back to this notion of safety, where people feel that they can bring their ideas, that's going to lead to greater outcomes. That's going to lead to greater profitability, because it's going to be more innovation coming out. But when you're so focused on numbers and metrics and things like that, that don't make sense for what the mission of the organization is, then we're losing sight of really what the point and purpose of it all is. So.
You're listening to America's Healthiest City on ESPN Richmond 106.1. Please visit americashealthiestcity.com to learn about our community partnership to make Richmond, the entire region, the healthiest in America. Today, we are interviewing Dr. Naomi Boyd from the VCU School of Business. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking about Richmond. We're here, you're here, I'm here. I'm curious to know about, maybe just one idea that you can inject into our ideas board that you might think anybody could pursue, either alone or with other folks, to move the needle for our region specifically.
I think what Richmond really has just scratched the surface of is this notion of a startup community. Again, I reflect on where Austin, Texas was 25 years ago. I'm aging myself, and where Richmond is currently. I think we're at the apex of something really, really incredible. which I hesitate to say because I don't want the entire world moving to Richmond because I think it's an incredible ecosystem as it is. But I really think that looking at where we are physically located and the opportunity to be a tech hub, to be a center for entrepreneurship and startup, given our proximity to New York, to Boston, given the incredible amount of just financial capital that we have here in the city, I think that is going to be a game changer for this entire region. And I think that the more that we can focus on tax incentives for new businesses, we have 8 Fortune 500 companies in our back door. Lego just moved here. I mean, that gives you a sense of a community that is just ready to really accelerate. So I think that Richmond will be seen as an entrepreneurial hub. It will be seen as an accelerator, and it will be seen as a source for economic growth and prosperity. And hopefully ECU will continue to be seen as the workforce engine for this entire region. And so it's really exciting to be in a business school that is surrounded by all of this possibility right now.
So I want to go back to creativity. And as we think about, at least part of America's Healthiest City, the next 9 years of this pursuit, how do you see creativity playing a role? I'm thinking about Lego, that's such a creative business. Yeah. How do you see creativity playing a role in improving the health of our region?
I think that in order to be innovative, you have to be creative, and creativity takes a sense of calm, right? It takes a sense of inspiration. And as you walk around the city of Richmond and you see the natural beauty that is around us, when you see this incredibly thriving arts community, it's impossible not to feel inspired. And so I think having the ability to be innovative and ideate on things that don't exist yet, it gives you a sense of purpose. It gives you it's from a holistic perspective. I feel like creativity and well-being are really intertwined in important ways because everybody wants to feel inspired, right? Everybody wants to have that sense of purpose, that North Star that they're working toward. And that's what creativity gives you. It gives you that time and that space to really think about things in a different way and come up with different pathways and different solutions, rather than things being mundane and you just walking through your life. It really allows you to explore different alternatives and possibilities. So,
and if there's just a few minutes left, leaders are always looking for something, guidance or a direction or some resources. What would you say is your North Star right now? What are you looking for?
I am looking for impact. I think that, when I think about the type of leader that I am and why I decided to move into administration, it was about the people. And it was seeing that very small changes can make such a huge difference in people's lives. And I've always said, if I'm not making people's lives better, then I don't want to do this job anymore. So it's for me, it's all about the people. It's about our students. It's about our faculty. It's about our staff. It's about finding ways to develop them into roles and careers and pathways that maybe they never dreamed of, or maybe they've been thinking about for a long time. Certainly you have to have resources to do that. And so, we don't have a name on the front of our business school. So ultimately that is my North Star, because when we think about changing the lives of not only the people that are here now, but future generations, having a named school of business would be completely a revolutionary, game-changing opportunity. And that was a big attraction because I like a good challenge. Mm-hmm. And I think that given our place and our purpose in RVA, we have people that can help us in that regard. And so it's really exciting to think about as we develop more resources and as we have, that purpose of being workforce generation, and that our industry starts to recognize and really come into our doors, how we can change everyone's life for the better. So it's an exciting time to be in Richmond. It's an exciting time to be at VCU. So.
Well, we'll help you get that out into the universe.
That's great.
So one of the questions that I ask everybody on the show is if you could name a person or an organization that you think is doing impactful work here in Richmond that we might consider reaching out to for an interview. Any ideas that come to mind?
I think we have so many organizations that are really doing meaningful work. I think that, even the large organizations like CoStar, their executives are coming to us and talking to us about affordable housing. How can we, again, I think that's the special part of Richmond is, people like Lisa Ruggles at CoStar who say to me all the time, how can we create better pathways for people in Richmond to have affordable housing? And so I think that the world is your oyster in a lot of ways in our community, because there are just so many great companies doing great, meaningful work and across the region. So,
for those of you who might want to get in touch, what's the best way for folks to find you?
You can email me, you can text me, you can call me. Just Google me and I'm right there. So my contact information is all online. I would love to have the opportunity for anyone who wants to learn more about what we're doing at the DC School of Business to reach out. Always happy to grab a cup of coffee, a drink, go to lunch. I think it's really important. The more that we talk about what we're doing and how we're doing it, the better off we're going to be, and the more perspectives we're going to have on where we're headed. So,
well, I'm really grateful for you sitting for this interview today. We all learned a lot.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. This was America's Healthiest City on ESPN Richmond 106.1, part of the Mike King Biz Media Network. Please tune in every week at 6 a.m. Thursdays to catch this show, and visit americashealthiestcity.com to see the ideas board. Leave your ideas behind or comments on others' ideas, and consider becoming an ambassador. Thank you.